All right, first things first, shout out to Burger Rings, keeping the dream alive. Not a sponsor, they're just really good. Okay, today's video, I want to talk about Z reviews, Z rants on the mono DAC conversation. Now, I do the same thing here in my studio where I'm running these Dante AVIO bridges ran in the way where I've got one for left and one for right, and they're completely isolated from each other to the point where they're only actually outputting one channel and the other channel isn't doing anything, like it's disconnected in software. What I want to do today is, he brought up a really good thing that I haven't thought about, and that is clocking between the two being mismatched. Now, the really good thing that he brought up was about the clocks between the two DACs getting out of sync, like just a tiny amount, and that's what we're hearing. And I am kind of skeptical with that thing in my personal setup, because the thing with Dante is that Dante sends the clocking information down the network, so everything is perfectly in sync and cannot go out of sync. So what I was thinking on doing was actually grabbing one of my AVIOs, making it a stereo output, plugging it into my interface, and then we'll flip the phase between the left and the right with a mono source playing, and we'll hear what the difference is between there, and then throw that into Pro Tools where we can see the waveform. And also then we'll grab the second AVIO adapter and then record purely left and right, flip the phase, and hear what the difference is. Now, the thing with Zeos's theory is that when we do this, when we flip the phase between left and right, we should be able to hear what information is different between the two DACs. In my theory, there won't be any difference and it will just come out with no sound. But if there is something going on there, we will be able to hear it through our monitors. All right, so we're all set up here now with the Dante adapter plugged into channels 1 and 2 of my interface. You can see in Dante controller that I've got channels 33 and 35 going into channels 1 and 2. The reason why 34 isn't is because it's center. The system's set up for surround sound. Now, I've got the system set up to output as mono. So if I go over here, yep, so they're both set as normal polarity. So now when we hit play and we flip the phase, we should hear nothing, technically. So I'm just gonna hit play. Cool, there's our tunes. Oh, hang on, it's end of the track, lol. Okay, playing some tracks now. Let's flip the phase to see what happens. Okay, so actually, this is really interesting. It's not a complete silence. So if we boost this up, it's pretty much the whole track. So I think all that we're hearing is the gain differences between the mic pre's. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open up Pro Tools and we'll record this as audio. So we now have audio coming in on Pro Tools. I've had to raise the gain a bit on it just to make it so it's a decent enough level. Let's just record a handful of audio here so then we can see the waveforms. I now have the two AVIO connected, and I've disconnected the other one in software, so you can see now only one of them is doing the left side and the other one is only doing the right side. And then that's obviously connected in the interface. Now let's have a listen to what this sounds like when I flip the phase in the monitors. So let's just bring this up a bit. And it's the same thing. Actually, there's some high frequencies there. Wow. There's like some high-end differences there that it's like it's a bit brighter. Like it's like someone's just gone on the treble control and just gone. How interesting. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is grab the We'll flip the phase back to normal and we'll record this in the Pro Tools and actually have a look at these waveforms. All right, let's go hit record over here and we'll grab the same amount of audio and I will come back to you in a hot minute. So I've moved the project to Logic for the moment because Pro Tools was giving me grief. Now, this is really interesting what I'm seeing on the waveform, because the waveform between left and right on the different DAC for left and right are they're not completely different, but like, see this fall here? One of them is like just a straight diagonal where the other one's kind of sloped. So you can kind of see how that's sloping there, where that's just a kind of line down. Like, they're not out of time. The timings are still the same. Like, if I drag this across and see where it starts to fall, it's all still the same phase, but what's actually coming out is different. Like, huh? Now this has gotten me even more confused, because how does stuff like that happen? Like, okay, let's go over to here where there's another peak. Sorry for no screen capturing, new computer. Okay. Now here, it's the same thing. You can see on the waveform above that everything is really close to being the same. Where on the bottom, there's just slight deviations in amplitudes. Like, you can see, like, that they just look, that there's just that little tiny bit of difference there, where some of it gets a bit softer and some of it gets a bit harder. That's really interesting. I'm not sure what's causing that. Like, I doubt it's anything like, it could be that the clocks are out of sync and that's what we're seeing. And that's what we're hearing with that, like, extra little bit of top end. But is this a bad thing? Again, back to what Z was saying, is this a bad thing? And I'm going to say no. But in the same context, it is fucking with stuff. Like, here we go. Oh, here we go. Here's a really good example. Right here. Look at how much more different these two waveforms are right here. Like, that's crazy. So down the bottom is the two different interfaces, and up top is the two same interfaces. And no matter where you look, it's the same signal across the board. But because they're two different interfaces, also all tests are being run at 48K, so maybe, yeah, like, look at that. This is really interesting, because it's all mono. It's all mono sources. They should be the same, but they're not. Like, even over here, look at this. Oops. Even look at this. Like, look at how much these slope differences are here. Like, this is really incredible. All right, so I think we've worked it out. All right, so in conclusion now, I'm fairly certain that we're hearing the differences within the DAC. I kind of don't want to say it's a timing issue, because the waveforms aren't out of time with each other. The amplitudes are still there and everything is still in phase, but they're just, that's little tiny bit different. And that's honestly really interesting. I don't understand why that's happening. Now, this is now out of my league for testing. I don't know what could be any different. The only thing I can think of is to test at 192K, but I don't have the ability to go to 192. My studio is only set up to do 48K. And reasoning for that is because everyone works in 48K. It's so weird. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on the video, please. And hopefully I'll see you in another weird world. Bye.